How you doing, folks? This is Mitch from Hard Intentions YouTube channel and website. Yeah, we got a website. And when we say small business, we are a small business. And this is our world headquarters. T-shirts, art, tattoo studio. So we thought we'd show you some of the stuff we got. We got our Singing Devil shirt with a custom logo. We've got some of these left. These are Racerbacks, Living Dead Girl. And we got our Celtic Cross shirt, oops, which I happen to like a lot. Pretty popular shirt. We got a few of those on the show. Then we got our Two Moon shirt, which is a painting I did for Steve the Barber. Folks convinced me to turn it into a t-shirt, so we did. And it's got its own logo in the front, little buffalo skull. We got the Hammer Drop shirt, which is kind of cool. We got the Hard Knuckles shirt, yeah, which I dig. We got our Naughty Biker shirt, oh yeah. And we got our Living Dead Girl in black t-shirts. And we got our logo shirt. That's our original logo. And personal favorite a lot of guys, we got our Viking shirt. Oh yeah, we got this in white also, I believe. Then we got our Hard Anchor. Oh yeah, that's got its own logo on the front there. I kind of like that little dot shaded thing. And we got some shirts left over from Street Vibrations we're gonna put up later. We got a few hats, snapback, a little small for my big ass head, but we got them. I'm gonna post those up. We got some cool ass stickers. Singing Devil. Our logo. Our backup lame. And of course we got prints. We got motorcycle prints. These are all paintings I did in prison. That's pan surfing. We got the shovel head. We got the Red Tree Run, which is kind of cool. It's got a little movement going on there. This is a good one. I got glue on my fingers today at work, so it's kind of hard to grab them. That's Cruising the Coast. They're sticking. Oh yeah, look at that. That's a nice one. I like that. Yeah, I did all these along with all the shirt designs when I was in the joint. This one I did back in Quentin, like in '81. This ballpoint pen, the colored pencil and pastel. And for some reason that survived. That's the Rebel Run. And we got the Disappearing and the Owl. We got a few other prints. One thing I want to start doing as soon as we can get them posted is we got some prints on canvas, upside down. There you go. This is a print of the painting of Two Moons. It's on canvas, mounted on board. You can pop it right in the frame. And we'll have these also. Same thing. These are 16 by 20. Canvas, mounted on hardboard. We'll get these up soon. You guys will be able to pick them up. Thanks for tuning in. We built this and yeah, this is where we do it. This is where I tattoo, paint, draw, fill orders. That's everything.
When we say we're a small business, we mean we're a small business.
Small business here means small business, for real. This is it. So, you know, we appreciate the support you guys give us to keep us going. You know, someday we'd like to be a large business, but right now we're kind of small. And all you guys that ordered from us recently on our sale, we appreciate it. All you guys have been ordering for years from us. We've been around about 2 years. We really appreciate you guys. And all you guys that are new, thank you. We really appreciate the support. You take care of yourselves out there and do it hard. Hi, how you doing, folks? It's Mitch from Hard Intentions YouTube channel. We also have HARDINTENTIONS.com where we have t-shirts and other good stuff. So please check that out. You know, last night we did a live Wednesday night, and we talked a little bit about Australia and so what's going on over there.
It reminds me of prison, because in prison, you're in a controlled environment. So what would happen was they started locking guys up. And as far as white dudes go, they locked up all the validated prison gang members right away. This is like 86, 87. And then, anyone that was associated with these guys, they would lock up. Like if they searched your cell and they found a kite from someone who got a kite from someone who got a kite from someone who might have been validated, they would give you a point. You get so many points. They find a photograph of you and Joe Schmo, and Joe Schmo's associated with Bobby, who's associated with, Joey, who's affiliated, then they affiliate you. And after so many points, they will lock you up indefinitely. It's called indeterminate shoe term. And they use stuff that I'm seeing they're using in Australia. And I know in Germany, if you're in a bike club, they don't like you visiting. I heard stories of guys getting off the airplane in Germany. There were motorcycle clubs. They arrest them, take them right to their prison. They held him there for almost 2 years, released him and made him pay his own way home. No charges ever. Just he was in a bike club and they don't want him there. So, just like in prison, when they took the family visits from the child molesters and sex offenders, everyone cheered, yay, a lot of us said, no, it's not good. Yeah, they don't deserve to have them. But when they take them from them, they're going to take them from other people too. And lo and behold, they took them from us, guys doing life sentences. So, but you can't cheer one group, against another when they take their stuff. So I wanted to read you some of this stuff. And it's anti-bike laws are getting public use to loss of civil liberties. There's no proof that severe and disappropriate anti-association laws help to eradicate organized crime, University of Queensland researchers say. So basically, these people are saying, all these laws are not going to help eradicate crime. We learned that in California with 3 strikes law. All it did was fill up the prisons. They built 34 prisons. They had 180,000 dudes almost. California prison system alone, and the county jails, county camps had guys coming out the butt, but it's called the spread of anti-terrorism style laws throughout Australia. Criminal justice system is conditioning the public to accept severe and disproportionate loss of civil liberties, a legal academic has warned. South Australia's drafted laws that would permanently tag members of motorcycle gangs as criminal organizations participants, leaving them facing a lifetime of risk of jail for associating with others, even if they had quit the gang. First off, they're not gangs, they're motorcycle clubs. And so what they're saying here is if they tag them as a member, they're going to wear that tag for the rest of their life. It's called a non-association law. And so I know guys in California, when they get out of prison, they're on parole, they're in a motorcycle club, they'll tell them, you can't, it's a non-association, just exactly what this says. You can't associate with that motorcycle club while you're on parole. And, I had a non-association. I'm not in a motorcycle club. It just says, you're not allowed to associate with motorcycle clubs, street gangs, prison gangs, any of that kind of shit. But for them guys specifically, they tell them you can't associate with these guys. So they do it here in the United States, a limited version. And I think that's been challenged in court and won, if I'm not mistaken. I have to talk to Mr. Marvin Munch about that. But the measures were introduced despite the South Australian government's blueprint being under review in Queensland, where its Labor counterpart, that's the Labor Party, I guess, has a task force to recommend ways to repeal or replace gang laws once touted as the world's toughest. University of Queensland, Rebecca, I said it was the latest example of extreme measures adapted from terrorism legislation under the same rhetoric, but without proof that they helped eradicate the crime. This lady from the University of New South Wales, Professor George William, in a recent study, traced the creep of federal anti-terrorism laws, including the use of controlled orders, secret evidence, which I told you they use in prison, crimes of association, and a shift in the burden of proof into state criminal laws. So the burden of proof, the prosecutor has to prove you're guilty. So they're shifting the burden of proof to prove that once you're accused, you have to prove you're innocent. See, it's like doublespeak from George Orwell's 1984. You know, crimes of association, they're making it a crime to associate with other people. So if you're tagged and I'm tagged, we can't associate with each other. Guys have already been arrested over there for this. Guys get arrested for it here too. Like I said, under limited, you know, use. Secret evidence. Yeah, the use of control orders. So they control people through court order, and secret evidence. Dude, in America, they use secret evidence, but you know, in America, you're supposed to be able to face your accusers. Which, you know, in prison in California, you don't face your accusers. You know, they lock dudes up for 30, 35 years in the shoe with indefinite shoe with secret evidence, just like they say here. But see, now they're using this secret evidence in public in Australia, and they're doing it, I can guarantee you, at the instigation of the American FBI, you know, and other agencies of law enforcement and national law enforcement in this country. They're pushing these other countries to do this stuff. You know, because once they get it done over there, they can slowly creep it in over here. Let's see here. These are anti-terrorist laws. They argue the Australian experience offered a cautionary tale to other countries, with high court judges unable to act on concerns in the absence of constitutional protections from human rights or due process. So they've eliminated constitutional protections and due process rules. The bill had gone a step further than the Queensland law by permanently eroding the rights of anyone who even tried to join a bike gang. It doesn't matter if you just flirted with the idea. Attending a couple of meetings of a bikie gang in your youth means you are a member of a criminal organization then, now, and into the future. Imagine that. Just imagine if you were held accountable for everything you did as a youngster when you're in your 40s, 50s, 60s, you know. That's, you know, I mean, it just reminds me of California prison system, but it's on the streets. It's in law in other countries, you know. The South Australian government on Tuesday dismissed opposition calls to allow judicial review of its declaration of 27 bike clubs. I'm not going to call them gangs, as criminal organizations, and for secret intelligence to be shared with a parliamentary committee, a government committee. The SA South Attorney General John Ross said, if the opposition wants to inject the courts back into the process again, all they're going to do is guarantee that, one, we'll be in a court forever, two, we'll waste a great deal of money, and three, we're going to achieve nothing. Well, they're not going to be able to achieve their goals of total control. And, you know, they do it here, have no doubt, but they don't want the courts being involved because it costs too much money and it'll take too long. Well, they say the same thing about guys on death row, you know, that they exhaust their appeals before they can execute them. And it costs too much money, takes too much time. Dude, you're talking about killing somebody. So, and so these guys in Australia, they don't want the courts involved. But just imagine if they did that to guys on death row. They do limit their appeals now, thanks to Bill Clinton. In the Anti-Terrorism Act, he put a thing in there about use of the courts for guys in prison. You're allowed limited access, and you have to do it in a certain amount of time or you're screwed. Bill Clinton did that. What did that have to do with terrorism? Put it in the Anti-Terrorist Act. People are going to vote for that, right? Otherwise, you're anti-American if you don't vote for an anti-terrorist bill. But he put stuff in there that limited our access to the courts. Yeah. So they're doing this over there. They don't want the courts involved. They don't want to spend the money. You know, when Jerry Brown, Pat Brown's dad, Pat Brown was governor. He was Catholic. He used to agonize over, the people he had put to death when he was governor on death row. Back then, they killed a lot more people than they do now. After he was out of office, he did a research on each case and found out a lot of them, the majority of them were probably innocent. So complaining that you have to spend money and limit the appeals process of guys on death row, that's a moot point, man, because once you take their life, you can't give it back. You can't go, a few years later, go, oh, we're sorry, we found out you were innocent, and I'm not saying they're all innocent, but I'm just saying if you're going to kill somebody, you need to be, you need to be right. You need to be correct. Otherwise, you're killing innocent people. And a side note on that, if you're just out for punishment, life without the possibility of parole is a far worse punishment than death. Trust me. So let's see. It says, here's another thing too. It says, it said that the list of criminal organizations proposed by Raw had already inadvertently captured the Phoenix Motorcycle Club, a harmless social riders group that shared the same name as a self-styled outlaw motorcycle club in New South Wales. This showed the unintended consequences of giving massive discretion to governments and police. Under the law, if the Phoenix Motorcycle Club went, oh crap, we've just been declared a criminal organization, let's dismantle it, that wouldn't change anything. So basically, once they're labeled for life. And here these guys are just a riders group with the same name as some other group in another part of the country. The laws would also be totally useless against groups that didn't formally label themselves, such as the Calabrian Mafia, unless the Mafia all started wearing uniforms. New South Australia government position reflected the trend of governments cutting out the courts in an experiment with how broad we can make the government's power. You see it in the proposed citizenship laws, the declared foreign places laws, metadata retention. South Australia has not adopted Queensland Vicious Lawless Association Disestablishment Act, which said, this chick said, which enabled the extreme scenario of these teenagers by buying recreational drugs to be jailed for an extra 15 years or more at the discretion of the police commissioner. Her study with Williams found that at no point was the effectiveness of measures first introduced to deal with the suspected terrorists considered as a factor in their adoption to tackle organized crime. Banning bike clubs from public gatherings, clubhouses, and wearing clothing and logos in licensed venues in Queensland was certainly pushing them out of the public eye, which is great for families on. Oh, you know what they're saying here too, these bike clubs, if they're caught in places that are licensed, public venues, restaurants and all that, they get in trouble. But also the venues, I know on the East Coast and out here, they go to places where there's events and they tell them, look, if you let these bikers come in here, we're going to take your license. They've done that in this country, and that's what they're saying here. These people aren't allowed in licensed venues. When they're doing anything. So the bottom line, this thing goes on and on and on. So, the bottom line is for all these snowflake weirdos out here, I grew up in a time when, we were talking last night, we were kids. We used to ride bicycles everywhere. We used to go surfing, skateboarding, hiking in the hills. We used to go up in the hills and throw rocks at each other. We grew up to think for ourselves and experience life on a different level, And so now as an adult, guys in the motorcycle world, guys in the lowrider car club scene, guys that are different, guys that think for themselves. They're not liked. These guys over there, they're bikers. They don't fall in line with like sheep, and just follow the crowd into whatever the crowd's doing. They're doing their own thing, and people don't like that. The government doesn't like it. One thing I read about this, they said people are getting scared. They're in public venues, and guys come in with bike club stuff, and they scare these people. Well, the people are scared anyways. Those people are scared of their own shadow. Those people have never taken a risk. Those guys have never stepped out of line, stepped out of bounds. Those are the guys that used to tell on you in school when you're smoking cigarette out behind the gym somewhere, whatever, man. I mean, it's a pretty, it's a pretty crappy excuse for coming up with laws when really they just want to eradicate people, They want to eradicate certain groups of people, and they want to eradicate certain types of lifestyle activities. That's what they're doing. And don't think they're not going to try and do it here in America or England or Germany. All this stuff started with the terrorists, the 9/11. And, granted, that was a messed up a deal. No one can argue that. But the thing is, you're going to give up your freedom so you can feel secure, and really, that was kind of a one-off deal, We won't even get into all the conspiracy theories on that, but the laws they created to supposedly deal with terrorists are now affecting United States citizens and obviously citizens of Australia. They also have pretty outrageous COVID restrictions in Australia. It's different where America is different. Every state, every county is different. I just be aware. And prison, man, they took our weights, they took our family visits, they took our packages from home. They were locking guys up in shoe units on secret evidence. All the time. It's a controlled environment. They were doing the same things in prison that they were doing in Australia and that they would probably like to do here in the United States. So, it spreads, Once they get away with one thing, then it just can. Now prison is so bad, they took, food and ruined it. I mean, half the food they feed you can't eat. Exercise is limited. Yard time's limited. Visiting's limited. Everything's been taken away. A lot of the art programs, the hobby shops, all that's been taken away. I just, you give people that much control over your society, and they're just going to take everything they can from you. California, man. I mean, they outlawed gas powered leaf blowers and lawnmowers and generators by a year, like another 2 or 3 years. You won't be able to buy those here. They tax the shit out of you. California has $75 billion excessive amount of tax they've collected in the last 2 years. They have a surplus of $75 billion. To me, that just means they're taxing you too much. Why is gas $5-6 a gallon here and it's $2-3 a gallon right on the other side of the border in any direction? So just beware, man, that when you see someone pointing the finger at another group of people and wanting to come up with some restrictive measures to deal with them, just know this: in a few years, Once they succeed with that, they're going to use those same measures to restrict you and your movements in your life and control you. Because that's what it's all about with certain groups of people in politics and government, is they want to control you. So, you know, be vigilant, think for yourself. Don't follow the crowd like a sheep, you know, and I'm not talking about, you know, medical stuff. I'm talking common sense. Use your head, think for yourself. And anybody gets in your way, don't let them be an obstacle, you know. Make your own way in this life. I mean, you can find like-minded people to help you do it too. You're not on your own. Don't be a sheep. Don't be a snowflake. Don't be a wussy. Get out there and do it hard, folks. Thank you. Have a good one.